Opinion Father's Day invites lots of gender stereotypes, but my dad doesn't fit any mold. There are a lot of tired tropes about fathers, and the father who left the family, or secretly hard-board another family, or was always traveling or never there to begin with. An internal ghostly absence, and there's a madman era workaholic dad and is disciplinary. And wait until your father gets home and that strikes fear into many a childhood heart. And there is a will and meaning about oblivious dad and is a coach that who energetically yells corrections from the sidelines. And then there is the divorced dad and who sees his kids only on the weekends and takes them out for ice cream on school nights and loves to pre-call the mom rules. But my dad, by the way, and many others, thankfully, doesn't fall into these rigid categories. And my dad, 86, grew up in New Rochelle, New York, and with an Italian mother and Jewish Russian immigrant father. In 1955, he got into Harvard because in addition to having good grades, and he could run, by the way, incredibly fast in college, he would place seventh in the NCAA finals as a low hurdle in the 220-yard race. And among the silent quotes for Jewish students at the time, and Harvard made it clear that his high athletic ability was a key factor in his admission. And years later, by the way, he moved out to LA, Las Vegas, and became a successful real estate developer and met my mom in Group 3B. And as his life story suggests, my dad is unique, by the way, for a lot of reasons. But most of all, he is unique for being a father who defies stereotypes. And mainly because of his determination to be fully present in my life. And after my parents divorced in 1984, when I was 7, and he insisted on dual custody, and an unexpected effort from a father of that era. And I switched, by the way, houses every week until I left for college. And during his week, my dad, an alpha male, who did it. And we both, mother and father. I remember him trying to fix my hair into a ponytail and pulling the strands over my ear. And while I looked on in horror at the mirror, he wore, by the way, the glittery paper crowns I made for him to the grocery store. And once because I directed him to I played the queen and he is a court jester. And he ate, by the way, a rose and chewing on it thoughtfully before concluding it tasted like a chicken. And during long car drives, and he taught me, by the way, how to hit the ball back over the net in a conversation, and to help remedy my painful Chinese. And only later did I realize how important it is to know how to talk to people. And sometimes, by the way, when I find myself in an awkward social situation, I still picture that mate and his tennis ball sailing graceful over it. And a perfectionist, my dad sometimes lost his temper, by the way, when I didn't clean my room and sharpen my pencils or keep my homework organized. But after a big fight, he would always apologize and understanding the necessity of repair. And once he drew a picture of a large box with all these other little boxes inside, leaving the others blank, and he colored in one little box and he explained that it represented our fight and the bad feeling we both harbored. But he added, by the way, look at all the other blank boxes. And he then slowly erased the fight box and showing how apologizing is the heart and that anyone disagreement between us and would never affect the whole of our relationship. And recently, after a screaming match with my own daughter, I drew the same picture, by the way, and I could tell how reassured they felt by this visualization, and which made an abstract idea and concrete. I would always love her, and no matter what she said or did. And in college, during my study abroad here, An ex boyfriend followed me to Europe, and when I refused to see him, he grew increasingly and pregnant and threatening, and somehow my dad got the FBI involved, and my ex magically stopped connecting me, and I never found out how my father managed this. And after college I lived in London with my fiance. But after a few years and loss of red flags, the relationship soared, and I called my dad one night and confessing that I didn't want the wedding to go forward. And even though 300 invitations had already been sent out, and I yearned to come home and without missing a beat, and he replied, "Great, I will call the hotel and cancel the wedding, don't worry about the deposit." And there was a big deposit. And years later, after I lost my first child, and my dad visited my every day for 6 months and joined me at a coffee shop around the corner from my house, and we sat together in the blinding afternoon sun, and my eyes were swollen and red from crying, and the sudden lose thinking me, and he listened to me talk, and resisting his natural urge to problem solve, and just acknowledged the depths of my pain. And for those 30 minutes we spent together each day, and I felt less alone. And even now, in his late 80s, by the way, my dad will swing by for a brief chat, and he talk over whatever thorny and pertinent issue and I'm struggling with, and he will say he needs to sleep on it, and the next morning I will find an email from him and with a list of creative ideas in bullet points.